Ladies and gentlemen, uh, last week on the first day of Fashion Week, I had a fashion show at Skyroom, and it was not easy to do as usual. But that time it was much easier for me. I had a new friend, Natalia, who helped me, and Natalia lined up quite a few models. She brought models from as far as Atlanta, Connecticut, and we will find out who is Natalia and why she does and what she does. And hopefully Megan is my co-host today for the day.
Hello.
Will help us to interview Natalia. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are.
Well, first I'd like to say thank you very much for inviting me to the set. I am Natalia. I was born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island. I always had a passion for fashion. I used to browse through the Cosmopolitan magazines and dream about being one of those models in the centerfold.
But you also won the pageant. You wearing a crown.
Yes, yes.
So you have quite a few titles into your name.
Yes, I have World Imperial Beauty's Miss Congeniality 2017 and World Imperial Beauty's Miss Poland 2017.
How do you become professional curve model?
To become a professional curve model, you have to always be very positive, keep networking, and have great confidence for yourself. You have to be able to speak in front of others and be able to walk in large crowds confidently.
So confidence, I see the key word here.
Yes.
How did you get into the fashion shows? Like, how did you find the shows? How did you apply to them? What was that process like?
Okay, I started in the fashion show industry in Connecticut, actually. There was an ad on Facebook for fashion blogging. So I responded to that ad, and then Yoshi B Models of Connecticut put me on board as blogger.
The social media is very important.
Yes, yes, it is. And so I started my walking on the runway there, blogging, networking, and also lining up entertainment for the event, and also designers for the event.
How do you advise our audience to get published quickly? What's the key there?
I definitely advise to move fast on media and also writing. If you have a momentum, keep it going and utilize that time. What I did was apply for a magazine in New York, which was Queen Size Magazine. They had a competition for Instagram. So I had a lot of likes and activity, so I ended up getting Queen Size House Model 2017.
Wow, that's awesome.
Now, you also consider yourself you're essentially, you kind of work as a producer, because aside from being a model yourself, you also help other women get into modeling. So how did that come about? How did you decide to start helping other people?
Actually, that started coming into play within 2 months of me starting to brand myself. People started to reach out, models, male and female, and also musicians. So it just seemed like they were attracted to the activity.
But what do you do? Why they follow you? Why do you have such a strong presence? Like, you walked in the room and all of a sudden you brought like 10, 20 new people to follow you. You brought the filmmaker, you have the whole crew of people who true fan of yours. Whether you go to Skyroom or you go to here at YouTube, they follow you. What do you do?
I be myself. I try to be personable. I try to be honest with people. I don't like to sugar.
You don't have to try. You are. You all those things.
I don't like to sugarcoat anything. I met Andre a year ago. He actually found me on Instagram. He never left my side. It seems like once people find me.
He did a wonderful video at the Skyroom.
Yes.
By now it's like what, like 22,000 views so far.
I couldn't believe it. That video is doing so good. 22,400 right now, I believe.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
How do you become a fashion blogger?
Fashion blogging. I just started writing, and people asking for articles. I submit it, but you have to be careful who you give your material to, because people want to steal your intellectual media and property.
I can give you one giveaway. I've been filming Saturday and Sunday lots of fashion shows. If you need my pictures, my video, I would love to give it to you for free.
Thank you.
All I want is to get published, so if you need any of my pictures for your blog, well, I'll be as you, Megan, and I
Great.
just want to get published this year.
Absolutely.
More.
It's very
and
important to
broad,
get out there. You know, the more of a media profile that you can build up for yourself, it makes a big deal on a CV.
It is.
And
It is.
You also mentioned earlier about branding yourself. So
Yes.
you have a very unique style. I don't know whether the camera caught it, but she has the most gorgeous silver shoes on right now. This is sparkly.
Thank
So
you.
how did you develop your unique sense of style and fashion, and what kind of clothes do you most enjoy modeling?
I'll be honest, my father and mother brought me up that a woman should always dress up and look casual to formal. I'm from a Polish background, so they always want us to look ladylike. So that came into play a lot. And also, like, for branding, I wanted to do high fashion, casual to high. I never did urban wear.
I see.
So I just stay out of that.
Did you ever travel back to Poland?
I actually traveled in 1996 with him for 1 month.
Because right now I see what's happening in Poland is really disturbing. The new government and the new law about the Holocaust, that they are not allowed to even talk, bring it up. It's very autocratic, and it's a back step back from the democracy what we're trying to do here in States.
There's a lot of history that's not released yet. You know, a lot of people keep it inside because they really don't want to open up and talk about it. But my father was 5 years old when the Germans was in Poland. So my aunt and him would go and sleep in coffins in the cemetery to avoid the soldiers.
Wow.
They would come in and raid the homes, even take the rotten potatoes so they had nothing to eat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think a fashion world can bring back a little bit of democracy? Usually, what right now is Olympic Games taking place. And in 1980s, when the America decided to join the Olympic Games in Russia, it ended up destroying the Soviet Union in some way, because all this freedom thoughts that came to the very close iron country helped to demolish the major country like former Soviet Union to much other smaller states. And nowadays these Olympics, do you think they will bring a little bit of peace in the Korean Peninsula?
I really think so, because in Poland and Germany and all these countries, we're very family orientated. So with the Olympics going on and everything, it's like you're bringing everyone together. Unity is very important. All different,
But
cultures.
pageants actually don't. On one side, people say yes, they bring unity together. We're all together. On the other side, one country against the other country. Like I'm Polish, I'm Russian, I'm Jewish, I'm American. So it's a competition. Like if you saw in some of my shows, I would mix. I would get the Polish girl to wear Ukrainian flag and Ukrainian girl the Polish flag. So the audience would not know which one is which. So
That I
we're all
love
together.
about your fashion shows, and you seem to embrace the same thing, is the sense that you do not just stick to the classic stick thin anorexic models. You have people of all shapes and all sizes and all backgrounds, and I think that's so wonderful, because I think that it should be like that. Because if you go out and look at people on the street, everybody's a different shape, size, color, and you're beautiful in your own way. And it's wonderful to have fashion shows like Alexander Gurman's. Like, you go under the fashion label Mr. Great. You have some fantastic models, and the fact that everybody looks different and unique and shows off how everybody looks in the clothes. I think that's wonderful. I think that's great.
It's a notion that we all love fashion. It's people. It's an honor. It's the way I look at this. It's more like a privilege to do fashion. So people, some noble models who have standard. The minute you approach them, join the show, how much I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
And my next question to them is: are you familiar with the term of gold digger? And usually they get offended, but that's what it is. All they care is how much are they getting paid. They're not interested in the fashion. They're not interested in the show, in the in the sense of art. It's very little have that artistic to them. It's very business oriented look. And for the models of different types of shapes. Curvy model, it's mostly about actually fashion. It's about art.
And I also
So
think
it has true
the
passion there.
inclusiveness of your shows and the inclusiveness of like the way that you bring other girls into the modeling, you know, the inclusiveness and the helpfulness, that is the meaning of democracy. So I think in that sense, you know, these fashion shows really prove a nice point that you don't have to be, you know, stick thin anorexic, because some of like the top models for a while there started to look very unhealthy, to the point that they actually started passing laws saying that they cannot be too skinny because it's unhealthy. I think some people actually died from anorexia and different health
Yeah, because it's
issues.
so competitive out there. Even in the pageant industry, it's very competitive. You know, people don't eat for days because they want to win that crown. You know, I've seen it. People leaving on the stretcher and coming back so they get that crown. You know, it does happen.
Exactly, it's terrible. Like but you embrace more like the positive side of modeling. You're showing that modeling can be a very positive, wonderful thing. It's really what you choose to make of it.
Yes.
Like, you know, you can make the decision to be like, you know what, I'm not going to starve myself, but I'm still going to enjoy myself, and I'm
You
still
do
going to get
this as
involved
more
with
like
the
a
shows.
networking thing.
Yeah.
You should see Natalia on Facebook.
I can imagine.
It's hundreds and hundreds of messages daily.
I
She
would
keeps
sign up
her
for
crew
her Facebook just to see
very,
this awesome crown.
she keeps her crew very tight. She constantly engaged them, so they have those conversations.
Yes.
I don't know when you have time to work and take care of the family and the kids, but I think it's a really, really tight crew. They are together and they feed off each energy of each other.
It's the positivity of it. Like, you come across as a very sweet person, and you know, like,
you.
there's no like that diva attitude, and I think that like people are attracted to that.
Yes,
you know?
and really, that you just got to be real with people, be upfront. You know, honestly, all this time I've helped people along the way, and I never like
Do you get
asked about
reciprocity
money.
back?
No, I never asked them for money or anything. I'm doing it for myself, to network and to, you know, get myself out there and knowledge. And I just feel if I just keep helping people, one day, you know, I will come across someone will give me an opportunity that I can't refuse. You know, that's how I look at it.
And you've
Good will
already had
come.
success. I mean, you have a great social
You've created
network.
your own
You're in
success,
fashion shows. You're at YouTube
Yeah.
studios. So I
Yeah.
mean, all of it's, you know, stepping stones.
Yes, and I
Builds
feel
up.
this is a major accomplishment too, being right here.
How did you like the show?
I
Was
loved
fun?
it. I loved the energy. The time went by too fast. I was excited that everybody showed up. I couldn't believe it. It was my first time doing a lineup.
Okay, so
It really was. It was the first time me doing a lineup, and I have to admit, you know, I did have some help from Mr. Runway Ramirez,
yes,
you know, from New York Sexy Divas.
he got so much audience. From now on, it was the
Yes.
first time I brought male models in the show, and it was a big success. He got more applause than anybody
That's
else
fantastic.
because half of the audience are female.
Exactly.
He was the like I had
I
two
can't-
models,
Yes.
male models, and among like 20, 30 female. Of course, he got a crowd roaring for him.
Yes, and I did have another male model lined up, but he changed his mind. But I think he would have been another good person in that lineup for that moment.
Next time we'll do something
Yeah.
like equal.
Where are you hoping to go from here in your career? Do you have any shows lined up for the future, or do you have any big plans coming up? that you wanna
Actually, I
mention?
have a very busy week this week. I'm actually traveling back and forth 4 times from
goodness.
Connecticut. This is my second time. I'm also going to a press release on Friday at Zavo for Vedi to Signat's International Fashion Show. And I'll also be walking in that show on the 18th
Oh,
for
congratulations.
couture
That's
designer.
wonderful.
It's my second time walking in the event, so this is the second production. So
It's a big deal. You consider you're part of Fashion Week in New York
Yes.
City. It's a really
yes,
big deal.
yes. I mean, I have people contacting me from New York asking me how do I get in. They don't know how, but I'm like just
I figured the way now for additional, if not income, but additional perks on the Fashion Week. Whenever I do the runway on the riser, what I do, I not only my photo and video camera, I put the like a tablet or a phone for live streaming.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever I do that live streaming, a lot of my friends actually writing, oh, I want to come, I want to come, I want to be on your crew. So I figured out the ways, and sometimes I'm allowed to bring additional help, crew or a guest if they have space. And it's a
social
great.
Media is such a wonderful tool.
Folks don't know that you know, if you know someone who is on inside, they have the privilege to bring other folks in. So it's by invitation only sometimes.
That's true. That's very true.
And when you need them in return, they let's say I got a couple of models came in to see the show. Guess what? Now those models are willing to film with me, and it will be TFP.
Exactly, it builds trust.
It's like I got my son music teacher with her husband and her kids came in to see the show. They let me in.
Wonderful.
Guess what? I'm getting extra classes and extra attention for my son. So I think I found an additional stream of revenue, not only for the pictures and videos that look normal, but it's also like those favors that comes as a reciprocity.
A lot of creative media, like a lot of creative endeavors, period, really do grow by word of mouth. It's a very organic type of growth, you know. And the more people you meet and you connect to, like the more, you know, you build those contacts. And as you said, it's a networking thing.
Yes.
And then it just gives everybody more opportunities to grow. So it's like a win-win-win
At
all
some
around.
point, I think everybody in the audience went live, and they shut down. Like I couldn't go live anymore. Like after half a day, I wanted all the best shows were actually at the end, and it was the Wi-Fi or whatever system was locked, so I couldn't go any longer. But
That's wonderful.
It was really a fun event. I mean, I still have people contacting me to be part of it.
So let's do it again. Let's do the next one better.
I still have
Guys, if you want to be a part of our next show, we don't know the date and time yet, but I'm pretty sure Skyro already asked for another one in March. So let's join our crew and do a March show. I have actually the March 8th, I believe, show for the Woman Day. That's the big holiday in Eastern Europe, and some ladies are celebrating that holiday. So it's mostly women in force, ladies who service work in the firefighters or the police or
Public
public service.
Very
So
interesting.
those ladies marching show that they not only could be a FBI agent or CIA agent, but they also could be on a runway. For the cause.
Fashion can be very inclusive, and I think that that's what you try to make people realize, that it's not this closed little world, that it can incorporate all different types of people. Like you can be a working professional and still be able to do fashion on the side, like you just for networking or hobby. It's a lot of fun. It's
People
something a lot
love
of
fashion
people
at different
enjoy.
age. You can be
That's
like
right.
50, 60, you still love fashion.
And the events are tremendous fun. Alexander Gurman's, whenever you see Mr. Great in an event, you know it's going to be a good night.
Went by too fast.
Next one will hopefully Megan will complete her collection of heels, and you will
If
see.
if not for this one, I'll definitely have it done by like May or June, definitely, because I'm making 7 based out of my artwork.
Stay tuned, guys. Thank you. Go ahead.
I also wanted to share that I'm a breast cancer survivor. This summer will be 5 years, so that's what really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And I'm also in the process of making with Mr. Andre Brown of Epic Scope Film documentary, Natalia's Survivor Journey. So that's something
I
else
saw that
along
show
the way.
that was the first show and the best show on Sunday. I saw probably 10 different shows on that Sunday, and the first show was a cancer survivor show, and those ladies walked, barely naked, and you didn't see you see the scars, and the audience gave them standing ovation. You watch that video. It's amazing what happening, and some of the girls who walked the last year show, they had those pictures because they didn't make it this year.
Oh wow!
So that's a very moving part. They raised quite a bit of money, I hope, and that was they call it
Very
like
powerful.
Yes, it's a big statement.
little small, like not major cancer. It's still a cancer. It's still a serious
Oh
thing.
yes, absolutely. You're still a survivor. It's still a scary thing to go through.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe I am a survivor because I carry myself so well. I'm like, well, I tend to open it
Every
up.
day is a gift.
Every day is a
That's
gift.
right.
Like you realize
That's right.
the
You want to
preciousness
live
of life.
today, and
That's right.
Something like that.
Exactly.
The documentary, when is it coming out?
Oh, we're actually in the process of still editing footage, and we're hoping to enter it in the film festival.
maybe we can.
fantastic.
Hopefully, you like studios here, and maybe we can film some of it here.
That'd be great. I would love
Please let us
that.
know
Andrew
when
is
it comes out.
right here with us behind the camera. Hi, Andrew. He's
He's
right
been doing
there.
a great job all
Yes,
day.
he
His
is.
first day on the set, and he's been doing fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. If you have questions for Natalia, what would be the best way to reach out? Like Facebook or Instagram?
Oh,
or
yes. You can reach out to me, email Natalia, Natalja 39 at hotmail.com, Facebook, Natalia Liberaki, Instagram, at Natalia. I have 29,000 followers right now, and Twitter, at Natalia1977.
Thank you, and thank you for coming in on Valentine's Day. And
You're
feel
welcome.
free to take a little trinket to
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the
They
Diva,
not
but they're not edible. They're just little trinkets that you can keep forever. And thank you for coming on Valentine's Day.
Thank you. No problem. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.